We are very proud. I love that we get to do this for you, to reveal the 2022 National Teacher of the Year, only on CBS Mornings where this happens. This outstanding educator is chosen by the nonprofit Council of Chief State School Officers. This year's finalists include Colorado's Autumn Rivera, Hawaii's Whitney Aragaki, Ohio's Kurt Russell, and Pennsylvania's Joseph Welch. And the 2022 Teacher of the Year, this is my drum roll, is none other than Kurt Russell.
Hey!
He was a history teacher at Oberlin High School, and we're glad to tell you that Mr. Russell's known for emphasizing cultural relevance and representation through classes like race, gender, and oppression. He's joining us, as you see at the table. We say welcome and congratulations to you, Mr. Russell.
Thank you so much.
All three of us did the same thing. When we heard the name Kurt Russell, we went, what movies he was in? Don't people do that to you all the time?
All the time. I get that all the time. And so it's just a pleasure to be here with you this morning.
Glad you're here.
But we're glad you're here. Before we get started, we've got lots to discuss. We have a little surprise for you, Mr. Russell. It comes from several of your students who wanted to pay tribute to tell us why you're so deserving. Roll tape, please, Shantae.
Good morning.
Mr. Russell is such an incredible teacher and person in general.
He's really active when he teaches, like, very expressive.
Are you sure? You positive?
It's like he commands your attention.
He's just really enthusiastic, and he relates his curriculum to real-world experiences.
Marcus Garvey is saying the same thing.
You walk in there and it's just lesson the whole time.
He wants us to truly engage with one another and embrace new ideas.
On this side, say yes. On this side, say no.
Mr. Russell always strives for every student to succeed in this classroom.
He really opens your mind.
The biggest lesson I've learned from him is to confront the uncomfortable.
Don't be embarrassed, but I really have to call on someone.
He does a really good job of fostering conversations where everyone can have a perspective.
What you see in Kurt Russell is real.
He's such a dedicated person.
Such a vital piece in this community.
Good, caring person.
An amazing role model.
Write this down, Patrick. This is important.
I wish everybody could take a class with him and just get to have a conversation with him, because that's how great he is.
Kurt, we're so very proud of you. You're changing lives. You're motivating young people each and every day. And we are so blessed and proud to have you in our district teaching our children.
Oh, now, don't you want to go to Mr. Russell's class? I'll go first. Yes,
I do.
we do.
Yes. Sign me up.
Congrats. What does it mean to you? I mean, we all live to hear praise from colleagues. So what does it mean to hear that you mean so much to the students and the people you work with?
You know what? It's such a blessing to work for Oberlin City Schools. I work for a tremendous school district, and the kids are so wonderful. And I get inspiration from my students. And each and every day, my students bring a sense of respect, a sense of a eagerness to learn, and just fortunate that I'm a part of this great part of education.
No, but they say they get inspiration from you, Mr.
That's
Russell.
right.
So where did it come from that you wanted to be a teacher to begin with?
Ironically, it was three pictures.
Three pictures.
Three simple pictures.
1, 2, 3, go.
Yes. Growing up in the South, well, my family grew up in the South, and they always had these three pictures. Martin Luther King Jr., JFK, and Jesus. And I was so interested in those three pictures and became interested in stories. And that's history. It's just nothing but stories. And I just really fell in love with the aspiration of telling stories.
Wow. You heard from Mr. Larry Thomas there, who's your mentor. I love this idea because we've all talked about this, how every one of us can name teachers that have impacted us in our lives. I mean, I can go back to kindergarten and name every year a teacher who inspired me. And to have Mr. Thomas talk about you in the way that he did, you're standing on his shoulders. How does that feel?
Well, Mr. Thomas was the first black male teacher I ever had.
Wow.
And since my kindergarten days, I always wanted to be a teacher. So Mr. Thomas showed me the attainable goal of being a teacher, gave me that inspiration, the way he dressed, the way he just carried himself. And it means a lot for me to hear Mr. Thomas speak highly of me.
You mentioned stories and being able to communicate those stories. It's tough for teachers to take history and then communicate it to a young mind in a way that creates an engagement. And you do that, listening to your students. But you take that head on, though. You teach African-American history, and you also have a course that Gayle mentioned, Race, Gender, and Oppression.
Yes.
Now, race is a big debate in this country. Why do you take it head on?
Because it's my responsibility to provide my students with a holistic opportunity to learn. The one thing that I really would like to stress receiving this award is to make sure that students receive a well-rounded, diverse education. And that starts with faculty and staff, and also starts within the curriculum as well, making sure that students see themselves in the curriculum, and I believe that's how students are engaged.
A hot topic is critical race theory.
It's very
I would
hot.
love to get your thoughts on that, and why do you believe it's such a hot topic in this country?
Well, first of all, I do not teach critical race theory. What I teach is history. I try to make sure that my students have the most opportunity to learn. And the way I do that is through engagement, by allowing my students to see themselves in the curriculum. And by seeing themselves in the curriculum, students are growing. From my own experience with my students in my classroom, I see that. My courses are electives, and so it's not a mandatory course, and students are signing up for this course.
That means they want to be there. I love when one student said, you command respect, you command attention, you're very engaging. What was it like for you teaching during the pandemic? Because you couldn't be with your kids face to face.
It was really difficult.
Was it tough for you?
Yes, it was. It was difficult for not only teacher, but other professionals as well, because I was not engaged with my students.
Zoom, you mean?
With Zoom. That computer screen, that barrier was very difficult for me. I like being in the classroom with my students, being engaging, and I get feedback. I get energy from my students as well, so it was difficult.
Rumor is you're going to be invited to the White House.
Whoa.
Whoa. We haven't been invited to the White House yet.
Not.
So what's your message? And Dr. Jill Biden, you know, is a teacher. She's one of your homies, so she understands this.
Yeah, my message is clear: to provide a diverse education opportunity for all students. And when I mean diverse, representing faculty and staff as well, only 2% of teachers are Black males. But it's
Only
more than
2%?
that. Only 2%.
Wow.
Didn't
But it's
realize
more than that. It's women in STEM. It's men in the primary years. And also to provide my students with a diverse curriculum, to make sure that African American history class and race, gender, and depression class become normalized and not different.
Well, we appreciate you. Thank you so much, and congratulations
Yes.
again.
Congratulations.
Thank you for approaching your job with passion.
Thank you
Not
so
all
much.
teachers do. We appreciate you. You guys are the true superheroes. Kurt Russell, the real Kurt Russell, by the way.